6 years, indeed 3/4 of Fortescue's life, we have lived under this heavy burden of the ASIC allegations. It isn't news to us. We've carried it day by day. We've raised collectively some $6 billion of investor capital, very satisfied investor capital from around the world while carrying this burden. And over that time, I've been wanting to maintain my silence, wanting to let the legal process continue its course and, come what may, have faith in that judicial system. I still very much have that absolute faith, but I have to now quickly move on. Fortescue is a major business. The philanthropic work we do is very challenging, and so I want to give you the opportunity now to talk to me, hear what I've got to say, ask me any questions you like, but after this I will have to revert back, if you could forgive me, to saying anything about the ASIC case. I have to refer you to the judicial process. I cannot comment on it further.
Are you going to appeal?
Let me just continue on just for a moment. It's a great question. Having addressed my staff who were shocked by the decision, they are now feeling empowered again. They now feel that Fortescue, regardless of whichever ways this goes, has a leadership team which is a world first of its depth, of its skill and of its ability to bring major new projects for the benefit of every single Australian into existence in record time with record efficiency and become solid corporate citizens, tax-paying and the like. I will be seeking leave to appeal. Fortescue will be seeking leave to appeal. Fundamentally, this case started when our hard-driving brothers and sisters in China, back in the earlier days when the going out was still being practiced and win-win was not such a common theme known in China, when the Chinese said to me, either you change the terms of our agreement to suit us, to give us control of your company, or we will pull out on that agreement. You choose, Mr. Forrest. To this day, I haven't regretted that decision. To this day, I'm extraordinarily pleased that Fortescue stayed in Australian hands and built new Australian projects and discovered new Australian ore bodies for Australians, and that the Chinese have come in like everyone else as an investor, but not through corporate blackmail, which is what that of course amounted to. Now, I can assure you that chairmen of Chinese companies on national television with enormous pomp and ceremony do not sign MOUs. They do not sign agreements which they consider to be binding. Chairmen of major companies in China only ever sign contracts. We believed that we had a contract with the bodies of the government of China. The appeal court took a view that because I couldn't name the price but assured the particular member of the media that it would be competitive, that therefore I didn't have a price, and therefore without a price that contract couldn't be binding. I would say to you all that that's certainly how it is often. But in the development of major projects of national scale, it is also extremely common that prices are determined by independent experts, that prices are determined by major and thorough feasibility studies who go through a proper process which is predictable, which is reliable, and determines a value which both sides can agree on. And that is the process which was in that contract, that the price would be determined by a feasibility study, and to this day, I will claim, as I do now, that I knew that price would be competitive because I was and my experts were managing the independent bodies. That price would be competitive because Fortescue was managing that feasibility study. Now, to me, that is clear as crystal. There would be a price, it would be competitive, and no, I couldn't talk about it at the time because it would be subject to a full feasibility study. I'm still comfortable with that statement, and I look forward to pursuing that in the High Court. I look forward to clarifying that a price can be determined in a contract subject to future events which both sides agree on. And that is how it's done in major business throughout Australia and throughout the world, and that is common.
So what do you think ASIC have...
But can I just finish? It won't be a moment. Yeah. Now, rolling on from this, I can assure you that for the few contributions I have made to Fortescue, there is a management and leadership team which, whenever we've had to raise capital, has meant we could put two, not one, leadership teams on the road, one in Europe, one in America. When they crossed over, one would go to Asia, the other would go to Africa. We could raise capital on the basis of a very deep management bench, a very invigorated, talented leadership team. That's with or without Forrest. While I'm honoured to serve that team and serve on that team, I can assure you that with or without Andrew, Fortescue will grow to build a bigger and better Fortescue and a bigger and better mining industry for every single Australian.
Have you considered standing down pending an appeal then?
No, look, I have been with this for 6 years. This could be news for others, but for 6 years my family, my company and I have shouldered the burden of the fact that at the time, in 2004-2005, when this case was brought, that ASIC had been through some really negative publicity. They needed to push something new forward. They pushed me forward and they've stuck at it ever since, even though across Australia, mums and dads, retirees from Queensland and Western Australia are falling foul of pyramid schemes, are falling foul of so-called real estate schemes, where they have lost their superannuation, where they have lost their life savings, and they are walking free while ASIC pursued in what I think to be quite a mean, vengeful way.
So they were
something which was never, ever going to harm any Australian or investor.
So what you're saying, ASIC pursued you to make themselves look good?
I think there is no other justification. Their charter is to respond to complaints and help those and defend those who aren't able to do so. That was not this case. No one complained. There is on the record not one single complaint, and it's on the record that no shareholder lost money.